Now let's look at the soil infiltration. If you are going to key in the data, please take note of the format of the data that you key in. For example, let's say the start time is 10 a.m. in the morning. Then you just enter 10 like this. End time, let's say is 10:15. And then the time should be end time minus start time. Due to the limitation of this form, unfortunately I can't automate this part of the columns so that it will direct minus end time with the start time and then show us the time. So if you are fine with writing a bit of the formulas, then you can just type in the formulas like this, equals, and then end time minus start time. If you are not familiar, you just want to key in the numeric values, then you have to key in this format so that it appears like this. The first two zeros refers to the hour. This is the minute, and then the last two refers to the seconds. So best if you can enter the data as in this format. Okay. And if let's say it is in seconds, so let's say you start the test in 10:14. And then the water fully seeps into the soil by after 25 seconds. So you enter 25 like this, and then you can copy this formula, copy and paste, and then it will auto calculate for you. Okay, so remember the last two digits refers to the seconds. When you are trying to enter the data, but you cannot get this format, right? So what can you do? So you can come here, format, number, and then you select time. Okay, don't select date time. If you select date time, then you will see something like this. You have a date in front, so don't select that. Use format, number, and then time. Okay, and then for the time, this part you use format, number, duration. And remember, for soil infiltration, if the duration is more than 1 hour, the test takes more than 1 hour to do, you just key in 1 hour, especially for the old records, whereby you will see them writing down more than 1 hour, something like that. Then you just put in 1 hour. But for new soil infiltration tests that has been revised from 2024, this will not be a limitation, as we are recording additional data, which is referring to the water height, So the initial water height should always be 1 inch, which is equivalent to 2.54. And if all the water has seeped into the soil, into the ground, then it will be 0. Okay? If the water did not fully infiltrate, then what do we do? Remember, we are using a ruler, right, to measure the water height. So if let's say the water height is 1.5, then you just key in 1.5. Initial water height should be 2.54. Or you can put in any numbers that you have that you measured initially when you start the test. If let's say it's 2, the number you get is 2, then you just put in 2. it's fine. It won't mess up with the calculation. As long as the final is always smaller than the initial water height. You shouldn't have something like initial height is 2 and then suddenly the final height is 2.5. This is impossible. But then the water can increase after you do the test. Okay? So put in the reasonable values. Okay, and then if let's say for this type of test, right, when it doesn't fully infiltrate, usually for now, the team, what we can do is that we can do, for example, let's say we start at 10:15. If after you wait for 20 minutes, the water still haven't finished infiltrate, and then the weather seems like it's going to rain, so you have to end the test earlier, right? So you can just end it, put down the time, and then what is the initial height and the final height of the water. Then this is good enough for analyzing data already. Okay, so it's not necessary that you have to stay 1 hour at a place, but of course you don't just wait for maybe like 5 minutes. If the water doesn't move any, then you just straight away end the test. That if you end the test too fast, that is going to contribute to some inaccuracy in the data as well. So don't do that. But if let's say you have wait for a reasonable time, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but the water doesn't seem to infiltrate much, then you can end the test earlier. But bear in mind, if let's say initially the water height that you record is 2, and then final water height, let's say extreme cases, the final water height that you see is also 2, still at the 2 cm level. What should you do? If the infiltration level really that slow, what you can do is that you just edit a bit by changing this 2.00 to 1.99. If they are really similar, I mean the water height, if it's like not moving at all, then you just put 1.99, don't put 2. It is impossible that water does not infiltrate at all. Okay? So this is about the soil infiltration.